to NPS Now, your source for news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner. And with me today is Chris Mitchell, Employment Specialist, and Reggie Leach, the intern in the Post-Grad Transition Program. Welcome, gentlemen, to NPS Now.
Thank you for having me.
I've heard a lot about this program, so I was excited to have you two on the show. Chris, tell me, what's the purpose of this program and when did it get started?
Well, the purpose of the program is to give an opportunity to postgraduate students who come to us from our Norfolk Public Schools, and they are going to be involved in work experiences. They had some work experiences in high school. This is an opportunity for them to take to the next level of their life. They're out of high school, they've graduated, and they're ready to get started. So we take their interests and we look around and we find businesses that will give them that opportunity to work.
Mm-hmm. And Reggie, how did you get involved with this program?
Well, after I graduated, I just didn't want to sit around all day, not doing anything. So I called Miss Carolyn Cage up, and she introduced me to Mr. Mitchell.
Wow. And so, Chris, how do you get these students, or you don't call them students, you call them interns, right?
Exactly.
How do you get these interns connected with the program?
Well, these interns they're referred from our high school programs. And when they become seniors, they are ready to come into our program. And once that referral comes through, we receive it, and then they enter our program in the fall of that same year to start the school. And once they come in, we, at that point, find out what their interests are from the very beginning. We do what we call an interest indicator, and that tells us maybe their top 3 work interests that they want to do as a profession. And we take that and we go with it.
Mm-hmm. And so, Reggie, you reached out to Ms. Cage as opposed to, them contacting you. So what did you like best about this program?
I just like the best thing to me was meeting new people and learning new traits that will help me out in my future career.
So what jobs have you worked so far?
Television station, print shop, and radio station.
Tell me about your experiences with those.
Well, I learned a lot from all of them. Business management, music production, and software editing.
Software editing.
Mm-hmm.
So right now you're currently at what, 1270, Joy 1270?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you like that position?
I really love it, ma'am.
What are some of the things you have to do?
I have to put the music on the front board to get everything on air. Some music editing, like I was talking about before. Video recording, new commercials and everything. And basically, I kind of work there.
So you work the board?
Yes.
So you're pretty much running the radio station?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, that's exciting. So can I say that's your favorite job out of the ones you named?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, what were some of the things that you did at the print shop?
Print shop, basically just printing out posters for upcoming events, new worksheets, SOL tests, that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you worked here, too, at Channel 47?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you do here?
Camera assistant, I'm sorry,
mm-hmm.
and video editing.
That's great. See, he's got a lot of great experiences from this program.
Reggie really does. He came in with that eagerness, mm-hmm. and so it was easy to place Reggie.
So how do you select businesses to be a part of this program?
A lot of times I do a little research to find out which businesses are looking to hire, because that's the ultimate goal, and then I get the interest indicators from our students to what they really want to do. Once I find that, I go inside of the business and talk to the owners or the managers of on that shift and ask them if it would be a possibility for them to partner with us to give these students some opportunities, some training when they come into their establishment. If they agree to this, then I go in and do what we call an environmental analysis, mm-hmm. which I then have to go in and make sure that the place is conducive to the workers that I'm bringing there to work. Mm-hmm. If the space is available, if the noise level, the dust level, anything like that, which will give our students the best opportunity to work. Once the students get into their work, within a week or 2 weeks, we do an evaluation assessment. We assess them as far as how they're doing with the job, if they're really progressing with the job, if it's something that they can really do well, and if that's the case, then yes, we will continue that partnership.
So who are some of the businesses that you've had involved in this program that they were able to intern at?
Well, we've partnered with a few businesses, such as Walgreens. We've partnered with some other school systems. We have Town and Country Day School that we partner with. We have daycares. We have Bountiful Blessings Daycare. We have the radio station, which has been great over there, taking Reggie under his wing. We have the print shop, of course, with Norfolk Public Schools, and we have Norview Elementary School.
And you have my favorite store.
And you have the favorite store, yes it is, which is Princess Anne Thrift Store with
Yes.
Selena Edwards. And she has been great for us. She's taken on a few of our students, as well as providing some items, which we just completed our end of the year celebration. She actually provided some items for our fashion show for the students to wear. And lo and behold, she wanted to donate the items to those students. So
Wonderful.
they did not have to bring them back.
Tell me about the end of year celebration. How was that?
End of the year celebration was great. Lawan Hines Rome actually headed it up. It's something that Roseanne Fox had done when she was with us. And the end of the year just culminates a big celebration for the high school work experiences, for the postgraduate program, and the students really enjoy it. It's bringing light to what they are doing, letting the business owners come and see what they have provided for us in the trainings. The students have an opportunity to model with the fashion show. We gave accolades to different ones. And at the end, they had a party, so they got a chance to dance.
So you had a good time yesterday, huh,
Yes,
Reggie?
ma'am.
Oh, great. Would you suggest this program to anyone else?
Yes, highly. If you have something, if you don't have anything to do afterwards, you graduated, I extremely accept.
Yeah. How has this inspired you to want to move into a particular career?
Just getting up every day, not being late. I got out of that habit ever since I started this program. And now I'm just early for everything. I want to get stuff done on time, more productive and everything.
And you mentioned to me also that after being at the radio station, you're interested in DJing.
Yes, ma'am. DJ / music producer.
Oh, DJ/music producer. So this is a successful program.
It is a successful program. Reggie mentioned about getting up and being more diligent on getting to work. The program is a part of a two-part program. They do have a classroom session which teaches them soft skills, work ready, resume writing, interview techniques, and it gives them that work ethic that we're looking for, letting them know that it is important to get to work on time. It is important to take your break and come off your break on time. So that's something I hope Reggie received. It sounds like he did.
Sounds great. Thank you both for coming on the show and sharing your experiences with the Post-Grad Transition Program. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So stay tuned for more NPS Now.
Welcome back to NPS Now. I'm Steve Settmiller, Senior Coordinator of Athletics. Today we have Tiffany Sykes from Norfolk State University. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Tiffany, we have you here today to talk about something that's really important that happens every year for our student athletes, and that's eligibility, moving to the next level. But before we get into our discussion, let's talk a little bit about yourself, some of your background.
Well, I'm originally from Chesapeake, Virginia. I'm a graduate of Western Branch High School. I played multiple sports there, went on and accepted a volleyball scholarship to Virginia State University, where I played and was the team captain for 4 years. Both of my parents are actually graduates of Norfolk State University, so I do have ties to Norfolk.
Okay. All right. So you've gone through, you graduated. What was your career path that got you into where you are now with Norfolk State University?
Upon graduation, I accepted a position at St. Paul's College as the Sports Information Director and Assistant Athletic Director. From there, I took a position as the Senior Woman Administrator and Sports Information Director at Virginia Union. After there, I decided to go to graduate school full-time at Grambling State, but wound up being hired as the Assistant Sports Information Director. And from Grambling State, I went on to the Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association, where I worked in championships and public relations.
All right.
From there, I went to Chowan University in Murfreesboro, North Carolina, where I accepted my first job in compliance. And currently I'm the NCAA eligibility specialist at Norfolk State University.
And that's why you're here.
And that's why
So
I'm here.
That's a great lead in. Let's talk about the process for a student athlete that aspires to be a student athlete at the collegiate level. So what can you let our parents know that is important for their child in order, not only the talent level, but the academic level, and that's how they get into college. So walk us through that.
The one thing I would like to communicate to parents or any students that are interested or believe that they have a chance at being a college athlete is to, as soon as they see this interview, go on to www.eligibilitycenter.org, which a lot of people formally refer to as the clearinghouse. A lot of people use those terms interchangeably. But eligibilitycenter.org, and it's a very user-friendly website that the NCAA generates, and they have tons of information for parents and for the prospective student athlete. So initially, that's the one thing I would tell them to do.
Okay. All right. So we have an aspiring athlete. They go onto that website. How early in the process should they go into that website and register?
As a freshman, I would go onto the website, tab into the resources tab, and each high school has a different set of core courses. Core courses aren't universal. So I would identify what high school I'm attending and download the core courses for that particular high school. One thing that's also important, when I'm looking towards graduation, if I've attended more than one high school, each high school is going to have different core courses. So I'm not going to be solely evaluated on the core courses that are on my final transcript for that school. So I'll need to identify the core course list for each school.
Okay.
But as a freshman, I'm going to download the core course list and just make sure that I'm taking courses that are college preparatory courses. Then as a sophomore, I'm going to register for the Eligibility Center. The Eligibility Center is a $75 fee that all students must pay to be registered. It's important to register because you cannot be issued a national letter of intent, or in other words, an athletic scholarship, particularly or signed with a school without being registered for the Eligibility Center. After your sophomore year, moving forward through your junior year, at the close of your junior year, you do want to send a transcript to the Eligibility Center, and that needs to be an official transcript, which means that it needs to be sealed and issued from your high school. It can't be something that you print off. They will evaluate that and identify how many core courses you've taken on up until that point, which is very important because the class of 2016 has new guidelines.
And that's important because that change is coming. So.
That change is coming. So unless you're graduating within the next week or so, all of these rule changes apply to you. So at the end of your junior year, you must have earned at least 10 of those core courses. That is one of the newest pieces of legislation as far as eligibility is concerned. You don't have time to make up all of those core courses in your senior year. You must have had 10 by the close of your junior year. Also, your junior year, at least by this point, you should have taken the ACT or SAT. And give yourself enough time to take a score if you haven't reached that score. So again, your senior year, you're just tying up those last core courses and again, taking the test score if necessary.
So a student athlete in the Norfolk Public Schools, it's really beneficial for them to get with their guidance counselors to map out that plan of core courses. And I want to just kind of go back to the core courses because GPA, a lot of student athletes say, hey, I got a 3.5. Well, you only got a 2.0 in your core. So talk about the difference there as well.
Correct. What we're going to look for when we are evaluating you as a potential student athlete is your core course GPA. So what we are looking at are 4 years of English, 3 years of math, 2 years of your natural or physical science. 1 year, we're going to look at those particular 16 core courses, your foreign languages, your comparative religions. We're not going to take into account your physical education, your economics, your weightlifting when we're calculating that particular GPA. One of the best resources on the Eligibility Center website is a Division I and a Division II worksheet. So what it'll allow you to do is take your transcript and pull out the courses that fall on that core course list and write them out and look at what your grade you have earned is in that class, multiply it by the unit that you will receive for that core course, and it'll help you calculate your core GPA.
All right, well, so it sounds like the Eligibility Center has a lot of resources that the student athlete, the parent, can download and start to figure out this process. But it still ties in back to that guidance counselor that they need to work together in order to make sure they meet that eligibility, to make sure they meet eligibility.
Absolutely. The relationship with your guidance counselor is very important. And one thing I did not mention when I mentioned the $75 registration fee. A lot of people are unaware that if you qualify for a fee waiver on your ACT or SAT, you also qualify for a fee waiver for your NCAA Eligibility Center registration.
Okay.
So if you fall into the category where you have received a fee waiver, you can go into the Eligibility Center, register your profile, and then let your guidance counselor know that you've begun your profile, and she can attach your fee waiver so that you can also have that fee waived.
So is that a one-time fee, or you don't have to do it multiple times?
Correct, it's a one-time
Okay.
fee.
All right, so you touched on ACT, SAT. How do those scores, how do they work to gain eligibility?
Okay, for Division I, we have what you call a sliding scale. Previously, the sliding scale started at a 2.0, but the push to make sure that our students are college ready, we want to make sure that these students have a minimum of a 2.3 grade point average, and that's a piece of NCAA legislation that applies to every Division I school. So the absolute minimum GPA a student can have is a 2.3 GPA. Corresponding with that GPA is a test score, for the ACT is a 75.
Okay.
Which seems high because a lot of people look at the score, their composite score on the ACT, but what the NCAA looks at is a sum score. So minus the writing, you add up each part of that score. Same thing with the SAT. We're only looking at your math and your verbal, not your writing, just the two parts. It's very important that people realize that we're only looking at the math and verbal for your SAT. I mean, for your SAT, and then for your ACT, we're not including the writing portion in that sum score.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know, that's a good roadmap for that parents need to know, students need to know, coaches need to know. Obviously, our guidance counselors are well versed in this because they're going to, you know, again, direct that student athlete. So if you had to, so what is the number one thing for a student athlete, to close this out, that they need to know, and so they don't get caught as a senior and they have this athletic ability and this coach at a Division I school or two wants them? What's the number one thing they need to do?
Well, one thing I want to say that's not necessarily, well, it is tied into eligibility, but a lot of people think that just because they meet the minimum eligibility center standards, that they can automatically be admitted to a school, which is not necessarily the case. So for example, 4 years of English, 3 years of math, but to be admitted to East Carolina University, they require 4 years of math, Algebra 1 or higher. So one thing I'd like to drive home is the fact that you want to identify a school that's a good fit for you, not just athletically, but also academically and socially, and make sure that you're comfortable there academically, not just from the standpoint of being eligible, but also somewhere where you're fit in to develop yourself holistically as a student.
Okay, and that's very important. They need to have a comfort level on where they're going, because athletics doesn't always, you know, carry out through the end, but they need to have that social and that academic setting to be successful. Tiffany, a lot of good information. We appreciate you coming on. We always appreciate the help that Norfolk State University participates with Norfolk Public Schools in whatever. So we want to welcome you, and we're going to definitely use you down the road.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. More NPS Now after this.
Welcome back to NPS Now. With me now today is Carolyn Cage, Senior Coordinator for Special Education Services and Learning Support, and Julie Mansfield, Volunteer Resource Manager for Nauticus. Welcome, ladies, to NPS Now.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
You guys have a great program that I'm excited for us to talk about today called Start on Success. But first, Carolyn, I want to talk to you about special education. How long have you been with us and in that department?
Oh, wow. I have been in special education services for 34 years.
34 years. What were your positions?
I started out as a teacher for students with moderate intellectual disabilities in the classroom, transitioned, in no pun intended, to being transition specialist, and then senior coordinator.
In those roles, how have you evolved as an educator, you feel?
I gotten a bigger picture because I started out working with students. I felt like it was my calling to work with students with disabilities, to help them to achieve, to overcome their disabilities. You know, my inspiration is Ann Sullivan, Macy, the Helen Keller's teacher. But anyway, but I also kind of got to see a bigger picture, that there was more than what was going on in the classroom. It's more than just teaching them to read and to write. It's teaching them to be successful for life. And
Right.
this position gave me the opportunity to do that as I evolved to transition specialists, and not just working with one group, but working with children with all types of disabilities.
And with those knowledge and skills, you've come up with a great program for our students called Start on Success.
Exactly.
Tell us about that.
Start on Success was a initiative started by the Department of Education, and they sent out a call for proposals a little over a year ago. Norfolk applied and competed with other school divisions, and according to them, we had a stellar application. And they approved us. It's an employer-based program, and it provides opportunities for students who might not have the opportunity to participate in career development or career readiness activities, because the focus is on working on a standard diploma.
And so what type of students are we placing in this program?
Well, we're placing what we refer to as higher incidence students, students with learning disabilities, some behavioral challenges, other health impairments, and they are, but the difference between that and some of our other programs is that these students are working on standard diplomas. They are students who could potentially go on to college or technical school. They will be leaving, and once they finish with public school, they're done. They don't get to continue through age 22, because they will be earning that standard diploma.
So with the Start on Success program, it brings people like Julie Mansfield into play to
Exactly.
participate. How did Nauticus get involved with Start on Success?
Well, we were approached, and we thought the opportunity was wonderful for our organization. Our directive is to reach out to the community. Being in volunteer resources, that's part of my objective, is to make sure that the community understands what it is that we do at Nauticus. Very high, or at the very top of our list, is education as a priority. And so we thought it was a perfect match and partnership for Nauticus and Norfolk Public Schools.
Describe the students or interns, as we were talking earlier, their experience working at Nauticus with you.
Well, it's been fabulous. As someone with a disability myself, I think that these students, now interns, have had the opportunity to come in and leave behind the classroom and work in a professional environment, which gives them confidence. It's amazing how their aptitude shows when they're working alongside professionals in our organization.
So how long have our students been interning at Nauticus?
Well, we are a little more than halfway through. I think we're into the 7-week period, and you would think that they've been with us for longer than that.
Oh, wow. So you are trying to place students at Nauticus. What do you expect for them to receive from participating in Nauticus and working with them?
I expect them to receive work skills, developing their technical skills, developing positive work habits, learning how to interact with others in the workforce. Because interestingly enough, these are not students with any kind of cognitive disabilities, but they may still have some challenges to entering in the workforce, to going to work on time, or getting along with coworkers, or being able, they can do the technical skills, but some of those soft skills still need to be addressed, and they might need a little extra support in doing that. So I expect them to be able to, as Julie said, be in a professional environment and learn how to function and operate as any other employee would, and meet employer expectations.
So how can a student get involved in this program?
Well, we actually are having a student and parent information night, which happens to be tonight, May 4th, but at the Parent Access Center. But generally, we're getting the information out to the schools. We have 2 fabulous job coaches who have gone out to schools to do some presentations. We've sent out literature and information on the program. We have a link to a PowerPoint that also provides information. And there is an application process, because we are only able to take 8 students per cohort.
Cohort, and the cohort is from the beginning, like September to
September through June, or actually until August, until the actual graduation period ends for a particular year.
And Julie, for Nauticus, what other activities or programs do you have for youth with disabilities or without disabilities?
Well, we don't really focus on programs for disabilities. We welcome everyone. So as volunteer programs go, we have youth 14 to 17, and and they can work in a variety of positions, as I said earlier, alongside professional museum staff members, anywhere from working directly with the public in our admissions department up to our third floor in our education department, working along horseshoe crabs and sharks. We did have one of the SOS interns for the first time go out to the battleship, and so they're working what we call frontline. So you're working directly with the guests. Everything at Nauticus, you're really working with the guests, and there are a few behind-the-scene positions as well: exhibits, curatorial, and administrative.
What advice, Julie, would you give any other businesses or organizations that would be interested in participating in the Start on Success program?
Well, be prepared for success. The partnership has been fabulous. I really can't say enough. We've worked with organizations in the past who haven't been as well organized as this program, and we've been very pleased. So be prepared to place the students, be prepared to challenge, I should say, the interns, as strange as it sounds, be prepared to have a little bit of a burden on your organization, but in a positive way. What we've learned by the interns being with us has at the beginning been a burden because we've had to put more energy into our normal day. But at the end of the day, it's been a fabulous partnership, a wonderful growth opportunity. That's one of our core values at Nauticus, is to grow professionally. I've grown professionally working alongside these interns. I've been amazed at their aptitude and their skills, and it's been just eye-opening experience for me.
So, Carolyn, how can a business or organization get involved with Start on Success?
This is a matter of getting in touch with me or even our employment specialist, is Chris Mitchell, because we're always looking for other businesses to partner with for this program and for many of our other types of programs.
Share with us real quick your contact information, your email and phone number.
Okay, I'm Carolyn Cage, and I'm at, my email is cdcage@nps.k12.va.us, and I can be reached at 628-3950. That's the number to Learning Support Special Education Services.
This has been wonderful, and I'm glad that we were able to highlight this Start on Success program, and I look forward to having you back on the show again, Carolyn, to talk about the other great programs that Special Education Services has for our students. And thank you, Julie, for joining us here today as well.
My pleasure.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
And we want to thank you for watching NPS Now. It airs weekly on WNPS, Channel 47, or you can view us online at www.npsk12.com. Again, thank you for watching NPS Now.